Just pretty bored out there today. Figured we got the week ended. Might as well see what everybody's up to. Got nothing really going on this weekend. Kind of thinking about maybe going to see a coin show. One isn't one too far away. Might make a little Sunday trip out of the thing. Head down there and see if they got any gold for sale. I was looking at my stack and it's looking a little light. Figure we had a good week around 5,000 all week. Didn't see anything major crashes or anything jumped up too high. So looks like we're leveling off there for a while for the short term. And while it still seems expensive, I think it's going to go up in the long term and might have to jump in on that. What's going on, Pang? Got any weekend plans? I'm just discussing with myself and you now, apparently. Weekend plans. There's a coin show about an hour and 45 minutes away from me this weekend, and kind of thinking about going down, seeing if they got anything on Sunday. Gold's looking a little light. Figured I'd see what they have to offer. What's going on, OC Omega Stacking? How are you? Mustard and Biscuits. Hey, buddy. Good to see you. I was looking at the coin show, and there's going to be five booths or tables set up. It's going to be a very small coin show, but wanted to check it out. All right. Pang, getting into it tonight, getting after it. You're doing the star this weekend then, huh? Yeah, I don't know. 5 tables is going to be a lot. If they have a big variety or not. I mean, it is a smaller coin show, but I'm sure I could find something to buy if I go down there and check it out. It'll be the first one that I go to. And got a couple $1,000 sitting here, burning a hole in my pocket, really. And unfortunately, I don't have anything else to spend it on right now. So might go down and see what they got. Hey, Jack Stacks, how you doing? Mustard and Biscuits, my Buffalo girl showed up today. Nice, what'd you end up getting? You're saying Buffalo girl, so I'm guessing it's plural. I've been stepping away from silver lately. Not for any particular reason other than just getting a little heavy there, and looking at gold to lighten the stack, if you will. I don't think I'm going to trade or sell or anything like that, but I'm going to focus a little bit more on buying some gold. I'm about even 50-50 split on, dollar-wise from gold to silver. And I'm thinking about picking up some more gold, getting in on that. 1 ounce buffalo rounds with Lady Indians on this other side. Oh, I'll have to check that out. It does sound pretty sweet. I've been away from watching videos lately. Busy with work and life. SD Bullion has them. Well, I've been known to shop there once or twice. Let's see what they got. Pull them up on my laptop here. I don't know how to share my laptop screen, so won't be very entertaining for everyone else. But at least we can talk about it. What do you guys think? Would you travel 2 hours to a small coin show with only 5 booths? Think that's worth it? Oh yeah, Scottsdale Mint makes them. Those are some nice buffaloes. Hey Emerald, happy Friday the 13th for sure. Yeah, you would not. I'm on the fence about it. I mean, I don't have a local coin shop. I don't live near a big city where they have big coin shows. I'm debating it. If I only got about $3,700 cash that I'd be willing to part with. I mean, if I had enough money there to get a full ounce, I probably definitely would go. But I've been really leaning towards fractional gold anyway. Mustard, I'm looking at that Indian, the Indian girl, Buffalo Girl silver round. It's like a $10 premium. That's a lot. I haven't really looked around for silver, so that might be normal, but holy cow. Emerald, I do not have a LCS in my area. The closest one to me is about an hour and 35, hour and 40 minutes away, which is unfortunate. Because, yeah, it's a little bit of ways. They pretty much have bankers hours too, so when you work, it makes it difficult to get down there. Yeah, $9.99 premium, that's what I'm seeing now. I mean, they do look nice. That's for sure. I guess premiums on silver is a thing again. Dang, that's a good deal. PM auctions on YouTube. Yeah, I've watched Silver Ocean's couple of his. I did get some stuff from PMs for sale. Picked up this Canadian quarter-ounce buffalo. I got that from PMs for sale. And I did get a couple pieces of silver as well. I got the Germanian mint buffalo bars. I got them from PMs for sale as well. I think I paid back before we went running up. I got 2 of these 2-ounce bars for I think $79 each an ounce. So I was pretty happy with them. Way back in 2025. Yeah. So I've been mostly an online dealer. Or online buyer, I should say. Uh, I did get a couple pieces in person last time I went to the coin shop. Went to two separate ones because they actually were not too far away from each other. And I figured, why not, if I'm making the trip. I got a 10th ounce maple, 2.5 gram, and a 2 gram bar whenever I went, and a couple pieces of silver as well. I'll have to check out Gold Sniping Farmer. I think I've been to one or two of his SGT stacking. Yeah, I've seen a couple of his too. I never bought anything from them, but might have to go that route. I mean, for one thing, you'll definitely get it quicker than these online dealers, right? Reckless Collection, what's going on, man? I'm doing well. Just wrapping up the work week. See, nobody else was on. Got the house to myself for a couple hours. Figured I'd, instead of talk to myself, I'd talk to you guys. Thinking about hitting that coin show up, just see what they got. Might drag the wife along and kind of make it into a Valentine's Day thing. We don't got anything on the calendar Sunday other than my dog's 12th birthday. Maybe I'll take him with us and he can go for a little truck ride. When we go out to restaurants, he usually put some snacks from whatever we're eating, wrap it up in a napkin or a little to-go container, take it out to him, because he likes to hang out in the truck. He's got real bad separation anxiety, but he does fine in the truck. Whatnot, yeah, I've heard a lot about Whatnot. I've never really checked it out. I've heard good and bad about it. Might have to go that route. I was waiting, hopefully with this crash, but we've been going steady for a while around 5K for gold, plus or minus $100, which seems to be, I guess, normal as of late, making me feel a little bit better about jumping in there. Obviously, I'd like it to go down a lot further because I'm still in the accumulation phase, but at least if it levels off, it makes me feel a little better. Hey, Sober Stacker, doing well. Thanks for jumping in. Just killing some time, hanging out. Hopefully your work goes pretty quick for you. Smooth and easy, no problems. Yeah, I don't have any Instagram or social media other than this here YouTube's. I don't do any of that other stuff. But I guess I'm missing out if I want to find some things online. There's probably a lot more peer-to-peer options out there if you use sites like that. I just can't stand all the ads and the thirst traps. Try to avoid things like that. Keeps me out of trouble. Hope everybody went over and checked out Sober Stacker's recent video. Got himself some new teeth. And I'm not talking about the shark tooths pang. They look pretty good. So I got my buddy into stacking. I think he's been really considering making a few purchases. I got him the U.S. Mints Army round, 1 ounce. I gave it to him back when, oh man, I think it was silver was around 110, 112, and he's been asking, is now a good time to buy? Around 77, 80 bucks. It's a personal answer. It's hard to say one way or the other. It's kind of what I told him. We've had a big run up and it came back down a little bit. Who knows which way it's going to go in the short term, but long term, I think he understands that it's going to go up between now and the next, I don't know, pick your time frame, 100 months, a couple years, 20 years probably until he retires. So, what's up, Philly Stacker? How you doing? Yeah, I went down 50 bucks in a week. I was surprised that we didn't stick around 75. We blew right past it. That was kind of what I was expecting, and happy to see that it's back around that price point there. Yeah, I was talking to you in the comments, Reckless, about that. Yeah, he's super smart dude. He's got a couple real estate properties. I think he's got a garage that he rents out, a couple rental houses, rental properties. Trade guy, blue collar, works in the electrical field. He's got his own property that he's slowly converting over. Basically going to make it a homestead out in the sticks. So he's definitely unplugged. Finally getting into kind of gold and silver, but he doing very well for himself. So it's kind of hard to convince him to slow down on stocks investing and it's real estate when he's done good with them. But I think he's going to start slowly accumulating some gold and silver. Now that he actually felt the coin. I mean, there's something clicks internally whenever you're actually holding 1 ounce piece of gold or 1 ounce piece of silver. It's a lot different than just reading about it. Once you get that cold metal on your hands, it activates something inside of you. Might text him, see what he's doing Sunday. I mean, it's definitely a holiday weekend. He's got a family. He might be doing some Valentine's Day things. Also, most scenes are dudes. Valentine's Day is tomorrow, so if you haven't gotten that squared away, you might want to. It's final warning, I guess, before you get in the doghouse. That's my PSA for the day. Bang at my coin shop. They let me hold the big gold bars. Yeah, that's some goals right there. Going in there and picking up some weight. Like, yep, one day I'll have something like that. Yep, first one's free, Pang. That's how they get you. That's how they get you hooked. I got $2,000 left on my truck. 2 more months on that, and then we'll really be going after it. Truck payments just under $1,000 a month, so that'll free up a lot of capital. When I sit back and think about it, man, I needed a truck, so I don't regret it really, but putting that much money out every month, it's gonna be nice not having it anymore. And it was a brand new truck, so I'll have it for hopefully another 12, 15 years. Be able to get some of that money back. Yeah, reckless. Better get out there. Oh, I know. I can't wait. Um, I went from not having a truck payment to having a $998 a month truck payment, and kind of hurt. I could have bought it with cash, but at the time I decided to get a 0.9% interest rate on it, so I took that, which isn't it wasn't terrible at the time. It's 2022, so right before interest rates kind of jumped back up there, and I took the money and built myself a nice little garage instead. So yeah, it was pretty steep, you know, but that's what you get when you do a four-year loan instead of dragging it out. I think they're up to 7 years now, which I couldn't imagine. But I'm also usually up until this point I was a clunker as well. Actually, the reason why I got this one is I had a 2006 Chevy Colorado, and literally on the frame it broke in two different places, and folded like a burrito. And this was 2022 when all the used trucks were pretty expensive. I was looking at a few different ones for like 44, 45,000, and a brand new one was 48. So I figured, eh. Then they told me that I could get a 0.9% interest rate, so I was signed up for that. Just like I said, it worked out because I sold a rental house that was just kind of giving me way more problems than what it was worth, and I was gonna buy a truck cash with it. They offered me that lower interest rate for 4 months, uh, so I took it and I deployed you know a bunch of money into building a nice big garage, 3-stall garage, cement pad, and it was a lot easier, which doesn't make sense to me. It was a lot easier at the time to get a loan for a vehicle that depreciates as opposed to getting a building loan for a building that doesn't depreciate as fast. Uh, if it does at all, I mean that's debatable, but so that's what I did, and ever since then I've just been kind of holding on to that monthly payment because it was at such a low interest rate. It was the way that I was looking at it was I was at least beating inflation. They say it's 3%, but I would argue it's probably closer to 5 or 6, and I was paying 0.9. So I figured at the very best I was at least getting a 2% return on not paying it off early. Could be closer to a 4 or 5, depending on how you look at it. But it'll be the last new one I get for sure. I got a 1996 Honda Acti for like 6 grand. With It had 9,000 miles on it, straight over from Japan, which was pretty cool. That's my daily driver, and I will probably this spring I want to put on a little bit wider tires because it's got like the little 12-inch uh, round with maybe 4-inch wide tires. I call them skis out here in the winter. So this spring I'm probably gonna get a tire adaptation kit, put a little wider tires on there so I can run it all year round. But that's definitely my favorite vehicle. Nice little mini truck. Yeah, the Toyota's a good good truck brand. I mean, good brand in general. I'm kind of stuck on the Honda kicks right now, but yeah, I think if my wife had her way, she'd have probably a Tundra. But one thing for sure, whenever I pay it off, I'm definitely not gonna increase my lifestyle. Let that lifestyle creep come in. I'm gonna take at $1,000 a month. I'm gonna lower my truck insurance, right? Because I don't own it, so I can lower that down. Save some money there, and I'll be probably most likely putting that right into some gold, maybe some silver, depending on the prices look like at the time. But obviously everybody would like to have more, but I'm pretty happy with my silver pile right now. I want to focus more on gold for the short term. I was also thinking about maybe trying to find some cheaper, generic silver that I could get with the sole intention of trading it in for gold in the future, but I don't know that that's going to happen. Um, I don't really. I understand the whole logic behind trading gold and silver, but for me, I believe in both of them long term. So I'd really hate to give up one for the other. Um, so I think what I'll do is just purchase new gold uh, instead of as much silver. Focus on buying gold, and I do that too with the stock market. Unless things get really out of whack, I don't really rebalance per se. I just direct different funds, into the different investments to rebalance slowly over time with new money, as opposed to selling and trading out for higher to lower. Hey Matt, hey Silver Dragoon, what's going on, gentlemen? Yeah, that's what I'm saying, Emerald. I believe in both, so I would hate to trade silver for gold and watch silver run up, and I'd hate to trade gold for silver and watch gold run up. Um, I'm happy with where I'm at in both right now. I wouldn't want to have less than what I got, so I think I'll just be spending new money into buying gold. Like I said, right now I'm about value wise 50% gold, 50% silver. I'd like to lean a little bit heavier in the gold side. So instead of trading or selling one for the other, I'll just buy more gold in the future instead of silver. As far as copper, I'm not a big copper guy. As far as bullion, I got copper wire and some copper fittings for plumbing. That's my preferred way of stacking copper. But as far as copper bullion, it's just not for me right now. Too much, too heavy. Takes up too much space for the value. For me, anyway. I'm not saying that it's right or wrong, but I live in a tiny house after all, so I don't have enough room to stack a bunch of metal. Gold is good. Yep, gold is good. Um, I like gold. I like silver too, but getting to that point where got a decent bit of silver. Thinking about you know focusing more on the gold aspect of it while still keeping the silver. I think a lot of people, I mean, it's still up from 6 months ago, but there's so a lot of people aren't really realizing it as well, but silver's volatile, so it can be everybody's happy that it's run up so quick, but it can come down as quickly as it did. Gold still volatile, but not as much. It doesn't swing as aggressively as silver does. So, and for me, that's why I got into precious metals is for some asset diversification and uh, what historically would be lower volatility. So I'm not really interested in the big silver swings. I mean, this is all gravy since it's gone up, but that's not the main reason why I got into stacking silver. Yeah, I wasn't. I mean, I was also pretty late to the party. Got in November around $30 an ounce, and I definitely didn't expect it to run up like it has. So I'm not one of those guys that have been buying in the teens and low 20s, saying that it's gonna run up. That wasn't really my expectation when I got into it. Yeah, I definitely understand copper, especially I got a copper round that was sent as like a thank you gift from one of the big bullion dealers. It's beautiful, and yeah, holding an affordable kilo. Yeah, I can understand that. Um, I do like the offer of having a cheaper metal in the like on a specific coin that I really like and I wanted to pick up. I would be able to get it affordably with copper for sure. Um, it's just not for me right now. Yeah, yeah, the constitutional copper. I have a small handful of copper pennies that I found going through my bag. Hey, jammies, what's going on? But there's definitely a lot of cool copper pieces out there that you know um, I like, but I wouldn't necessarily want to spend the 80-90 bucks on a silver round. I like having the option of getting them in copper instead. I just haven't pulled the trigger on that. But they do have some nice artistic bars out there for sure. It's all personal. For me, I don't have the space for it. Maybe if I lived in a bigger house, but I'm just a small cabin in the middle of the woods, and I mean that quite literally. Super small cabin in the middle of the woods. My wife and I built this house uh, before tiny houses were cool and mainstream. So there's a lot of things that after the tiny house shows came out, it's like, oh man, that would have been way cooler to do differently. But at the time, we kind of built it paycheck to paycheck. I'd go to work, come home, work a couple hours on the house, and then every payday, every 2 weeks, I'd spend half of it at Lowe's, get enough supplies to continue working for the next week or two, and go right back to it. And we did that until it was complete. 210 Liberty Bleed Silver. Hey, what's going on, gentlemen? Thanks for jumping in. Appreciate it. Just hanging out, killing some Friday night, staying out of trouble. Kalilo's in here. Investor channel, hello. We got a couple new voices in here. What do you guys think? Is it worth going to a coin show about an hour and 45 minutes away on Sunday that are going to have 5 tables set up, 5 different 5 different tables. Kind of debating that in my head here, if it's worth the trip or not. I don't think there'd be much variety, but I'm not really going after variety. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. It would be the first coin show that I've gone to, so kind of thinking it, it wouldn't be bad to just get that experience as well, you know, as opposed to like going to the fun show down in Florida or something where there's thousands of tables. Be a little overwhelming, but yeah, just get the lay of the land at a smaller one. Might be able to. I figure it can go one of two ways. Either it's a smaller show, so the dealers might be willing to make some deals, or it could be so small that they could just have ridiculous prices because there's only a few of them. Yeah, we could stop by a range and make a day out of it. Yeah, uh, Pang, the range is literally my front porch, so I could just walk outside and shoot right off my front porch. I couldn't tell you the last time I went to a range. That's what happens when you live in the middle of nowhere. You don't need one. What's up, Sergeant? How you doing? We were just talking about you earlier, about your live auctions. OBS. Yeah, Vegas seems to have everything going on. I've never been to Vegas, but one of these days I might get there. Be afraid to lose it all. I got I got what you would call an addictive personality. Or favorite NCO. That's what I got out as. I got out as a sergeant of Marines as well. Show off that gold buffalo. Which one? The one that you told me about? The quarter ounce from Canada? Got that off of PMs for sale. My friend Kalilo gave me a heads up on it. Nice little coin. And then these two, one's a proof, and one is a regular buffalo. But I have a feeling Kalilo was talking about the quarter ounce. So these are my little herd of buffalo that I got. That's the other thing about the coin show is I only got about $3,600, $3,700 that I'd be willing to spend at the show. So not quite a full ounce at these prices. So I'm looking at kind of debating that as well. I mean, I'm sure there'll be some fractional. LBS, leave your money at home. Yeah, yeah, that's what I would have to do for sure. That or only take what I'm willing to lose, which isn't a whole lot. Yeah, several stackers have addictive personalities. Yeah, I've noticed that as well. Um, I'm definitely one of those guys. When I get into something, I get all into it. Go pretty hard into things. I've always been like that though. You know, I got probably about 700 different fruit trees and fruit bushes and perennial plants that I got. I was into that, still am, but I went pretty serious in that about 3 years ago. All of the different kind of fruit trees that you have heard of, and then probably a lot that you haven't heard of too. Thanks, LBS. This photo actually came from Orban. It's from a calendar. He cut it out and sent it to me, and it's been on my desk ever since I opened it. I love it. Yeah, it's great. So I figured, yeah, it's a little nice little backdrop. Yeah, everybody goes Omega Stacking. He's constantly doing shout out videos. If you like knives, he's got nice collection of blades. Kalilo. Of course you bought the Libertads. I'm not surprised by that, but that's awesome. Glad you found a deal. Yeah, yeah, no half-assing things. Get you in some trouble in the core real quick if you did that. Yeah, tunnel vision is real. Absolutely. Um, I try to, whenever I get into something, I do my quote unquote research, right? And if it makes sense to me, then there's no stopping it. I go all in. But there's also been things that I thought I was interested in, and after looking into it further and thinking through it, I was able to walk away. But man, if I am convinced it's a good idea, it might be a problem. Lee Bear Todd Hayes. Yeah, you ain't getting any fancy pronunciation out of me. The only time I'll say something funny is if I got too much tobacco in my mouth. Jolly Rancher candy canes. Yeah, yeah, I'm the same way with pretzels. Yeah, you give me some peanut butter pretzels, they aren't lasting long. Yeah, wacky tobacco. I'm hooked on the nicotine. Gave up smoking, gave up drinking, but can't give it all up. I'll go crazy. Mustard and biscuits. You've heard me speak. I can only type it. Yeah, I only drink water too. Every once in a while, maybe maybe once a week, I'll have some coffee. But other than that, it's water for me. I don't I don't do much other than that. But I'll easily drink a gallon and a half of water every day. Bare minimum a gallon. It's probably because of all the pretzels I. Is that a Seinfeld reference? I can't. I don't. Contrary to belief, man, I live in the middle of nowhere, so I don't have cable. I don't have many streaming platforms on my dial-up internet. I don't listen to music. I don't watch TV. I'll read a book or listen to a podcast or an audiobook. That's about it. So I have not gotten anything. I think I went down Tuesday or Wednesday morning to the post office and cleaned it out. But I'm gonna run down tomorrow. The post office where my PO box is at is not the closest post office to my house, so it's kind of out of the way a little bit. That's done intentionally. You know, can never be too careful. But I'm gonna go down tomorrow and see if there's anything down there. What am I reading at the moment? Man, I got 4 or 5 books that I'm reading at the moment, but I just finished As a Man Thinketh. It was written in 1903. I just finished that last night. I have a book from David Goggins, Can't Hurt Me, I think is the title of that one that I'm reading. That's only because I'm training for a 100-mile ultra marathon in a race that I'm running in October, and that was given to me from a veteran buddy who is familiar with his work and knows what I'm trying to do with that race. So it's more of a gift, but I'm working through that. I also I'm reading it's a really dry read, but Resistance Operating Concept. I'm reading that as well. Those are the 2 books now that I'm jumping back and forth, but I'm looking at a library of books right now that I could recommend any of the 3 dozen that are on the shelf that would be good reads. All right, Emerald, I appreciate that. I will definitely be on the lookout. Somehow this orange juice tastes like vodka. Yeah, that was me when I was drinking. I would drink at my peak, it was a gallon of rum every 2 days. And that was whenever I finally, after 6 months of trying, finally quit. Thanks, LBS. I'm definitely going to finish it, the race. I just, about 2 weeks ago, actually broke my leg running too much. So I was in a air cast boot for 6 weeks. I just got out of that 2 weeks ago and getting back into it. Yeah. Unfortunately, the military and booze does go hand in hand. Same with nicotine, tobacco. That's where I picked up that habit. Read us an excerpt. From which one, LBS? From which book would you like? Tell you, this is the David Goggins one, Can't Hurt Me. That one. But this one, this leadership and self-deception. If you are in a management position, I would definitely recommend that. And even if you aren't, I think a common misconception among people is that they're not leaders, but I would argue that everybody is a leader because if anybody can see your actions, whether that's daily or weekly or monthly, you can lead them. It's more about leading by example. But this was a pretty good book, really quick read. It's more of like a story as opposed to just a how-to. But that was a really good one. Design Your Future. Got a couple Dominic Cortuccio books. Definitely recommend them. They're always good ones. I like to go back and forth. I've read both of these a few times. Yeah, Dub C. Yeah, if I wrote a book, I'd ask Dub C to read it. That's for sure. Yep, Ordinary Man. We are definitely all managers of our own families. Absolutely, but it doesn't even stop there. Anybody that you interact with on a regular basis, you know you could lead them by example. I don't know that anybody wants me to read anything, but I think one of my favorite books that I read when I was in my early 20s was called Set for Life. I don't have it here. I got a it's out on loan to a friend of mine, but that's a good one too. If you're into the creative side, which most of us are YouTubers, um, The War of Art is a very short book. It's kind of a play on the art of war, but that's also a very good book. I like that. It's really thin, quick read. Yep, Ordinary Man is definitely in the house. Appreciate it. If you like dry books and you're into, more of like a white paper, that's the resistance operating concept. That's the one that I'm reading. It's very, very dry. So, but I'm reading that for those of you that, you know, are into tactical stuff. That might be worth it reading. LBS, I bought my son The Art of War for Christmas. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I Man, if I could get my son to read half the books that I did at his age, he'd be killing it. So I think that's a good move. But the book that I'm talking about is The War of Art, not The Art of War. I mean, both are good books, um, but definitely, definitely different themes there. Full Metal Jacket is a Christmas movie. But yeah, I don't know. I like reading, I like listening to audiobooks, podcasts, where I'm learning something. It's just how my mind works. I can't sit around and listen to music or watch TV. Find that find that pretty boring. I couldn't tell you the last time I even watched a movie. So I'm not up to date on all of the hip culture stuff. I've read the 48 Laws of Power, Kalilo. I've never read the Laws of Human Nature. I'll have to check that out. I'll actually write that down and add that to my list. And thankfully, we do have a very good library where I'm at, so I'm a frequent visitor there. Laws of Human Nature. It's on the list. Hey, Silver Serpents, thanks for jumping in. Ordinary Man, The Glass Factory. I'll have to check that out. I think it was Philly Stacker who had on Atlas Shrugged book. That's a good book too. Long one, but it's good. Emerald, I was not Marsoc. Uh, no, I'm not that badass. I was started off as aviation ordnance, and then pretty much right after schooling for that, I transferred to. I'm gonna say it. Don't judge me. Military police, but we were attached to an infantry unit, so it was more of the field MP side. In the last year, I did some base military police stuff, and it was boring, and I decided to get out. But yeah, uh, no, the it was not Marsoc, but I was attached to an infantry unit for I don't know, 3.5 years or so. Magic of Thinking Big, yeah, that's a good one. I've read that one. 6 years Reckless. I made it. I made it 6 years in the Marine Corps. Creature from Jekyll Island. Yeah, that's one to read for sure. Yeah, I got out in 2016, so right before it got into um, it was starting to get woke even in 2016 whenever I got out. Rural, do you journal? I don't journal in the way that you may be asking. I do journal, but not like the today I sniffed a dozen roses journaling. Um, but yeah, I write down my goals. I reflect on my day. Uh, I do journal like that. Oh yeah, you just said it there. Yeah, write down their top three goals every 3 months. Yeah, I can't show you because it's on my phone that I'm using, but I I do I do that, you know. But I also, I mean, I don't really know what all I want to show in here, but from 2018, I've always kept down of my financial goals. I'll write them out. My budgets in here that I do every quarter month. You know, I mean, here's some mental calculations that I was doing back when I had a job that I drove 65 miles one way to, and I was trying to figure out, how much that was worth, right? And how much of an hourly wage was coming out of what I was actually getting paid since I was gone for an additional 3 hours a day, and what that was worth to me. So, I'll be. I always have done stuff like that. Uh, yeah, keeping track of Roth contributions and things like that. So I've always been financially tracking things like that. I'm old school though, paper and pen. It's the way that I like to do it. Hey, thanks, Emerald. Have a good night. The Clinton crash. When I was reading, man, I'm gonna have to write that down too. I love the book recommendations. Clinton crash. I'm gonna be busy the next couple weeks. The good book as well. Yeah, of course. Yeah, I still write down my budget and budget. I don't really budget per se. Um, I track what I spend, but I'm more of the type where I all of my money that I want to invest and save and everything like that comes right out of my paycheck into a separate account in direct deposit. So that anything after that, is kind of pay the bills and free to spend. I've switched to, kind of journaling into my phone. Um, I really like the, talk to text thing. I hit the microphone and talk into it, proofread it, make sure it's legible. Didn't, I don't know what the autocorrect version of voice to text is, but make sure it didn't switch anything up crazy. Pang, we'll see you later, man. Thanks for stopping by. Enjoy the party. Be safe. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. Southeast Stacking and Collecting. Hey, thanks for jumping in. East End Dave. Appreciate it. LBS, save me some, man. I'll be over to eat some of that. It sounds delicious. Then you can show me around Vegas and show me what places to avoid. I would assume anything with flashing lights and loud music coming from it, right? But yeah, I'll write, journal in my phone there. And actually, what I've really been doing too is a journal, and then I'll run it by AI. And I've been using AI to study for some work certifications, which used to be pretty big anti AI, because in my mind it was like, how to make, cute little cat videos and stuff, but pretty much the whole place. Yeah, that's what I figured. But everybody's got to make a few mistakes in their life. That's what makes living fun. But yeah, I've been using AI, and I thought it was just for making cat videos and things like that. So I was pretty anti AI, and I like to I believe in, people should have jobs and be productive, and work. But then I don't know, one day it just clicked that why can't I use this to, better myself? So I've been using it for, creating flashcards and study guides and, practice tests questions, and using it to better myself that way. You could also use it to like summarize books with key topics and things like that. And I look at it as another tool. I don't think it's going to replace a bunch of jobs as quickly as people expect. I mean, I do work in tech, so I do think it's going to have an impact, but you still need to know if it's true or not, right? It's still not 100% accurate, and it's still going to require people that know what they're doing to, I guess, monitor it and check it. I think right now it's probably at the level of, an entry level tech person, but it is growing fast. But I don't know that it's going to be a huge industry takeover like everybody's predicting. But who knows? I mean, it does seem to be getting a lot better, faster, faster. Jamie's, both my sisters using ChatGPT for their masters right now. Yeah, I mean, I was totally against it. Um, didn't use it at all, and now I'm not using it for my work per se. Like it's not doing any work for me, uh, in that sense. I mean, I guess it is because it's creating study guides and flashcards and stuff for me. But I'm not using it like, hey, write me an essay. I'm not doing that. You definitely could do it, but I'm using it to better myself, right? Like I've used it to create a 100-mile training plan. I've used it for, studying for certifications. That's using it to, if we go back to the journaling thing, right? Like, uh, I've used it to kind of assess my personality after I, put that in there, and kind of identify what could be holding me back, give me ideas to set goals, bounce goals off of it, refine goals, things like that. But yeah, using the resources, and that's the way that I look at it. I look at it as a tool. Now, like there's people out there that I know are using it to draft every email they have, to write and everything like that. And I don't know, I just get tired of the AI slop. So that's just me. LBS, food is just a vehicle for the salsa. Yeah, I'd argue that salsa is the only is the best thing about Mexican food for sure. It's just a vessel for the salsa. I agree. Someone has to watch these bots. Yeah, I mean, I I don't know. Uh, I'm a pretty big contrarian, right? So whenever I see, uh, if I zoom out far enough, and I'm also a pretty nefarious thinker as well, right? So if I zoom out far enough on the AI topic, uh, I look at what is it doing, and whether that's the goal or not. I look at how it's being used, and in my opinion, it's being used to dumb down society, right? Um, or at the very least, make them lazier. And this could be way off, right? But if people are not doing the work, it's taking thinking out of their tasks. Um, I look at it and I try to spin that and say, how can I use this to do the opposite? And that's the way that I use AI. Is you know um, put in a thought. Hey, is it a good idea to do XYZ, or what am I missing with this, with my thought process here, right? And use it that way to better myself. And I think that's, I mean, if you can use it to create cat videos, you can use it to better yourself. LBS, yeah, short videos and legal questions. I mean, it is it is a well, most of them are just a large language model, right? So they it's basically like a large Google machine, right? And you don't know where it's getting its data. I mean, a lot of them are just getting it from the internet, right, quote unquote, which is Reddit, Facebook, Twitter, right? So that could be where you're getting your information. So at the very least, you have to have a a base level knowledge of whatever you're asking about to make sure that it's not feeding you, just regurgitated garbage. So there is that aspect of it, but if nothing else, you can use it to train your thought process, and check your thought process. Yeah, Kalilo, always be growing. That's me, man. If I don't have 5 irons in the fire, I'm not doing enough. And even when I do have that much stuff going on, it still eats at me. I like ChatGPT to ask random questions, like what Google is meant to be, or a Bing browser. Tell me about this. Yeah, exactly. Um, like I said, the biggest thing that I've been using it for is studying for certifications, tech certifications, because I've done the trainings, I've read the content and the white papers on it and everything, and now it's just, hey, create me a 3-page study guide on app security, right? And as I'm reading it, in the back of my mind, I'm consuming the information, but I'm also using it as like a checklist of, is this true, right? I'm trying to find the flaws in it, which is also helping me learn. And it's like the old motto, uh, see one, do one, teach one, right? And that's kind of what I'm using there. I'm reading the information. I'm doing the software, trainings and stuff. So I'm doing it, and then teaching it. I don't really have anybody to teach it, but I'm reading over what it's spitting back to me, and I'm looking to correct it, which in a way is kind of teaching myself. So, hey, Catcom, thanks for stopping in. I mean, there's a good chance that it is getting information from YouTube as well, right? It's a source of information. It's probably, some might argue, one of the largest sources of information. So it wouldn't surprise me if it's pulling in that. I mean, I don't know enough about the large language models to say one way or the other where they get them, and I'm sure they all get them from different places. But YouTube is a big data-rich environment. Hey, Colorado Cam, what's going on? Thanks for jumping in. Thanks for stopping by. We're just hanging out, talking nonsense, killing time on Friday night. Yeah, it's got to get the info from somewhere, and that's one of the big things of it, is you don't necessarily know where it's getting its information, so you got to take that with a grain of salt. But I mean, another way to use it is, right, you read a book, and it's like, summarize that book to me, and give me some key takeaways, and see if that's what you got from the book, and compare it that way. I've done that before. Southeast, are you still in the chat? Serpents wanted to say hello, but he forgot. So yeah, I mean, that's what I should do, is put in there the question that I was asking you all: is it worth driving an hour and 45 minutes to see 5 tables to set up at a coin show? See what it says. Might have to do that later. Be interesting. Kalilo, that's a great idea, man. Let's start it up. We'll pick a book. The real question is, though, do we start with the ones that everybody's read, or do we go a little bit off the rails and pick some more, some non-popular ones that are still good? Cack. Wait for the movie. Yeah, just use AI for a summary. I mean, that works too. The rest of my books are all farming and homesteading books that I have here with me. Cliff Notes, Spark Notes. That was the big site back when I was in school. Yeah, I like Men of Excellence. I was thinking like Men of Wealth, but uh, Excellence is better because that encompasses wealth and so much more. And I wouldn't really just want to read finance books the whole time, because I've read a lot of them. Colorado Cam, what's everyone's favorite bullion dealers and why? Hey Josh, greetings from rural. I don't know. I have a bunch that I use. I kind of just shop around and find the lowest prices, um, and the best deals. I'm not loyal to any one of them. I've from bought something from most of the big ones. Uh, LBS says I like Hero. They don't got much right now. Yeah, I've bought from Hero, SD, Monument Metals. I even got some from the Sucker site. Yep, Matt, I'm with you. I use the ones with the best deals. Same with me. I don't really have one that I prefer over the others. I check all the prices. I mean, I like looking at the Sucker site AppMex for variety out there, but I very rarely buy from them because usually you can find it somewhere else. But it's good to use them to see what's out there because I would say, probably one of the bigger inventories that are out there. Jim B. I don't know that I ever bought from them. I think I signed up for their military discount, but never actually bought anything. But generics 50 cents over spot, that's a pretty good deal. Mustard and biscuits, students and living very extraordinary realities. Yeah, I mean, they're definitely in a weird time, right? Catcom, that's a good one. Yeah, somebody on Dragoons Live last night was saying somewhere had Eagles for 99 cents over spot. I think he said I think it was Monument Metals. I think I got that text too. But that's also a pretty good deal. So it's definitely worth shopping around, that's for sure. Um, Especially when you know, well, I mean, it's worth shopping around anyway, but I'll find something and then I'll go search, 5 or 6 different sites if I want something specific. If I don't want anything specific, I'll just be looking at the deals, seeing what I can get for the best price. Kalilo, right on. Adding to the ranks. Josh, it was Monument Metals. Yeah, that's what I thought it was, but I was kind of hesitant to say. Yeah, I mean, I try to convert over. I got one of my brothers last week. I think he got in on 5 ounces of silver. It would be his first purchase. He got one of the spot deals that I think it was at might have been at Hero, but it was the new buyer spot deals. So I officially got another one. I think that puts me up to 3 that I know in person. 3 people got into it, so. But I'm always hesitant to drag them into it because uh, I like to know a little bit more about where they are in their financial journey, because I don't necessarily think going heavy on PMs is best for everybody. It's like I don't want to say case by case basis, but it definitely could be bad advice at sometimes for the wrong people at the wrong time in their life. But if I know a little bit about your personal finance, and I understand what your goals are, which, let's be honest, not many people talk about that stuff openly. So the people that I do recommend it, I have a little bit more insight into what's going on with them. But I mean, if you're friends with me in real life, we probably talk finances. So, you know, I stop I stop there. But it's not like I'm trying to drag people on the street into it without knowing what's going on in their life. Yeah, debt free helps. If you were here earlier, you would have heard me talking about my $998 a month truck payment that I got two more payments left before it's paid off. So I'm a stacker that's not debt free, but uh, I don't want to rehash that. But basically, it was a 0.9% interest rate, and I had the cash to pay it off. I just decided not to do that because it's such low interest rate. I'd agree with that. Timing is everything. Got to have everything else in order. Yeah, I mean, there's definitely, at least in my book, right? I'm by no means a financial advisor, but in my book, there is basic steps that you should be either working on or hitting before you get into precious metals. Um, it's different for everybody, you know. But at the very least, I mean, if you're buying precious metals, you're at least, in my mind, saving something, which is better than buying, new pair of kicks and some lattes every day, going out to eat every night. So, I mean, you're making progress that way, but there's always an opportunity cost to buying precious metals, right? Or buying anything really, but you got to factor that in, and where that dollar is best spent. And you can't do that without knowing, I don't want to say the full story because I don't know that anybody ever truly gives you the full story, but you got to at least know a little bit. Yeah, I mean, I got I got fiat sitting right here. A decent bit. Uh, it's a necessary evil. You still got to use it to transact and pay your bills, but as far as just holding it for the long term, there's definitely better options out there. Yep. Uh, Colorado Cam, you are spot on there. Uh, Same with Kalilo, assets versus liabilities. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to say it's a pet peeve of mine, but I think that's definitely a common misconception that all debt is bad debt. And I'm I'm adverse to debt, but I'm not totally against it. I think there is a argument to be made for debt, um, if it's used the right way. And you could definitely overdo it, over leverage yourself, but like Colorado Cam saying there is producing income, debt for equipment, yeah, low mortgage, absolutely. Real estate, uh, if you buy, a dump truck and some heavy equipment, right, and you use that to make money, obviously everybody would prefer it to be paid off, but you can do it in a smart way. Um, and that's what Kalilo's saying. It's assets versus liabilities. Yeah, absolutely. If you're using debt for assets, while it may not be preferred by a lot of people, it's definitely a tool. It's like anything else. It's a tool. You can you can use it to make money, make more money, open doors, opportunities, but you also have to be aware of it. It adds risk to whatever you're doing too. So um, I'm not totally anti-debt, but consumer debt, absolutely, get rid of it. My kids are my debts. They're in 20s. They're in their 20s. Yeah, I mean, kids definitely can be debts. Jammies, you're basically describing know your customer. Suitability advisors have to look at before even recommending anything. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, uh, when I don't even really want to say that I give advice because I don't think that I do. At best you can call it a recommendation, um, but it's more of like I try to put myself in their shoes or think back to what has worked for me or what hasn't worked for me, or at the very least, uh, treat the person as, if they're younger than me, my son or my younger siblings. If they're older than me, that's kind of tough. I usually try not to give advice to people that are older than me, but um, yeah, what I do is exactly, yep, this has worked for me, or have you thought about this? And usually, I mean, honestly, for the most of the part, if somebody's asking me for advice, I usually answer them in a question. Really, is like, well, I mean, have you thought about it this way? Uh, I'm not one to give advice. I mean, I've done pretty okay with myself. I would like to think. Definitely could have done better. Definitely could have done way worse. But I don't have all the answers, or I wouldn't be, talking on YouTube. I'd probably be writing a book about how to be a billionaire or something like that. So I don't even pretend to have that. But yeah, you definitely got to know your customer. Absolutely. I mean, you you can't just you can't just go recommending things like that. That doesn't make sense. You could do a lot of harm that way. Yeah, Catcom, you can't borrow if you don't owe. I had to read that twice because I wasn't sure what you were saying, but I think I understand it now. You can borrow if you don't owe. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, if all debt was bad, then anybody who has a mortgage is doing it wrong. Anybody who buys an investment is doing it wrong. Uh, with loan, like you got an investment property or invest in equipment or invest in a business. I mean, that it's all numbers on a ledger, right? And that's how you really need to look at it, or how I look at it. Credit score. Yeah, I mean you can get underwritten if you don't have a credit score. That's still out there. But oh, you're saying if you don't have a credit score, it's harder to get loans and stuff. Yeah, I mean fewer and fewer companies are underwriting, but they're still out there. I mean, they just look at the asset, what it's worth, and you might not have credit history, but they still have ways around that to do that. Yeah, they look at your income and how stable your income is and stuff like that. If you have other investments somewhere else, they factor all that in. But it's all what you're comfortable with, you know. And then another thing, it's all relative too, right? You could say, uh, having a $5,000 mortgage is insane, but if you're making 25 grand a month, it's not really that insane. So but that could be a lot of money to some people, and that could be not a lot of money or a debt. That's the other part of it. Like I said, it's all personal, and you even the general advice isn't necessarily always the best advice um, to give to somebody. Yeah, I mean, I primarily only use a credit card um, for all of my transactions, but I pay it off every month. Absolutely. House is the best way to get credit. I've never had a mortgage, honestly, so I don't I never paid rent, never had a mortgage, so I don't really know for sure. But yeah, house is definitely a good asset that can be used for a line of credit for sure. Mustard and biscuits. That's funny. Yeah, I mean, he did look pretty fancy in that tie of his. I don't know that I'd take financial advice from him, but I'd definitely listen to see what he has to say. I'm just kidding. Jamie's, I think you're a smart guy. I just co-signed for my son's first car, got 8%. I don't I don't know if that's I mean that seems about average right now. Um that's what we were talking about earlier is my truck payment was 0.9% interest. So I was pretty okay with having that hanging around. Jamie says I don't give advice. Yeah, we did. I guess we did just talk about that, right? Jamie's isn't the advice giver. Um, but yeah, my truck payment is 998 a month, but it's at 0.9% interest. So to me, that interest rate is low enough that I'm okay with keeping that around. And while I'm excited that that's done, it'll be paid off in 2 months. I mean, I'm not opposed to. I wouldn't be opposed if they were like, "Hey, you want to refinance this $2,000 for the next 4 years at 0.9% interest?" Absolutely. Just because 0.9% interest is definitely lower than inflation, so I'm paying them back with less valuable dollars. But at the same time, I don't have $1,000 a month to invest somewhere else. So yeah, you gotta weigh that out on your own. Suit and tie and PJ bottoms. That's what I said on his live. I said, "Joke's on us. He's wearing PJs underneath on the bottom half." James, I believe that you would, and that's good because I mean, ultimately, you got to do what's best for the client. Now, you want to talk about advice on planting a tree? I can give you that. Give you that for sure. But when it comes to finances, no, too personal. Need more information. Yeah, uh, it's good to build your credit for sure. I mean, it doesn't hurt as long as it's responsible. I, I've had my credit card since I was 18 though, so my credit is pretty good. Got your salsa made, yeah, ready to eat, have a feast. So, Jammies, should I drive an hour and 45 minutes to a coin show that's going to have 5 booths set up when I only have about $3,600 to spend? Would you make the trip or not? Putting you on the spot. It would be my first coin show that I've ever gone to. Small venue. Liberty bleeds salsa. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking. At least go for the experience, right? First one, kind of get the feel of things, see what's out there. I'm thinking it's either going to be small enough that the dealers there might be willing to, you know, do a deal, or it's going to be small enough that the dealers can all get together and the prices are going to be ridiculous. You know, because there's not much competition. But either way, I'm thinking it might be worth it. I'm pulling a CD Monday, only getting 3%. Yeah, I mean, 3%, right? That's keeping up with the reported inflation. Um, it, you know, can you do better? I don't know. Uh, that's up to you. I mean, it also depends. You know, you can put it in the stock market or gold and silver, and it can all drop another, 20%, and then now you're not getting 3%, you're getting less than that. So it depends on where you're at and the opportunity cost of somewhere else. You know, do you think you can spend that money, take that money and invest it and get better than 3%? Make a day out of it. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I could maybe drag the wife along and we could hit somewhere up Sunday for late Valentine's Day lunch or dinner. Kill two birds with one stone. Museums or something. Yeah, I'm sure there's something down there in that area. Colorado Cam, I'd probably check it out. Thinking about it. Could make some cool connections. Yeah, I don't know about, they're all away, but I've never dealt with any of them or been to any of their places. So, but yeah, I won't know until I go. If I had enough to get a full 1 ounce of gold, I would definitely be all over it. But I don't have that. So, but I'm sure they got some fractional stuff there I can pick up. Call it a character building excursion. Yeah, I'll get her into liking precious metals one way or the other. If I have to force her in a 3 hour round trip car ride to do it, so be it. Catcom might invest in rare coins. That's something I haven't got into. I've never been a collector of rare things. That's part of my personality. I don't like to not I don't like to haggle. I don't like to find sellers. You know, like I had a couple dirt bikes and motorcycles, and trying to deal with selling them, peer to peer was a nightmare. The dirt bike I actually did, and I took way less money because I was tired of dealing with it. And then the motorcycle, I took it to a dealer and took their cash option. That's just how I am. Hey LBS, enjoy your salsa. Thanks for stopping by. So, for me, I don't know. I like the things that I buy to be uh, liquidable, as in I can sell it with the least friction possible, which is also another reason why I'm not stacking 90%, is because it's almost, I don't want to say too much work to sell it, but for me personally, it's more of a hassle to get rid of. So I haven't gotten into the rare coin stuff because, it just by nature, it's a smaller market. Colorado Cam's giving out advice. He's saying put that CD elsewhere. I think he's half joking, but yeah. I mean, It's out there. Jamie's, I'm a stacker mainly, but surface numismatics. I have to really separate the two personally. So mainly just bullion for me, but think they're super cool. Yeah, I mean, I'm I don't have any numismatics. Um, I get the allure. I love the history behind them, but when it comes down to it, if I'm spending the same amount of money, I'd rather have something more liquidable. And that's just me personally. I don't, especially when we're talking about significant chunks of change. Like Mustard and Gold had those Indian heads that he picked up. I think they're freaking sweet, but for me personally, I don't I don't want to spend that much for a collector piece. You want to give me one, sure, or we're talking, less than $1,000. Maybe I'll bite, but I just doesn't fit my personality type. Not a huge, not a huge fan of it, to be honest. But I do like I love Southeast Stacking and Collecting's videos and hanging out talking with him because the wealth of knowledge and the history I do find fascinating. But as far as for me collecting them, that's not it's not something for me. I'll watch the content all day and I'll absorb it like a sponge. But me personally, I'm not. It's not what I'm into. Catcom. I was a coin collector first. Stacking was from friends in club. He's starting a tribe. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like I said, it's for everybody. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying it's not for me. Um, I do think there's a lot of neat stuff out there, that has some history, and it's cool. And to think back, like, what those old coins were used to purchase back in the day, you know, that stuff is fun for me. But as far as using it as an investment, which is how I see my gold and silver, it doesn't check the investment boxes for me, mainly because of the liquidity thing. But now a hobby or an interest, I totally understand that, and I could get behind that 100%. Um, but as far as investing, that's not for me. Yeah, live vicariously through others. Yeah, I'm the same way, and I mean, as a stacker channel, right? I'm not super into knowing all the different things about coins. I have so much going around in my little noodle. I couldn't keep it straight. And like trying to remember key dates and years and this is 90%, this is 35%, this is 40%. I that's way too much for me. I'm a simple guy at heart and I like to keep it simple. But as far as learning that stuff, yeah, I mean I'm for it. I like learning it. I find it interesting, but I am not I don't have very much interest in the collecting personally. I do find it entertaining and neat whenever somebody is collecting and they finish a book or they're hunting that final coin or whatever and they get it. I think that's awesome, but it's it's not one of those things that I'm all that interested in personally. Yeah, looking at the proof sets. there's a lot of stuff like that. Um, I've seen it, but I just I'm a bargain shopper at heart, so I don't want to get locked into trying to complete a set because I'm I'm looking at gold and silver as an investment, and if I spend a bunch of time, filling out a collection, then I have to, in my mind, to get the price for that collection, I have to sell it as a collection. And what if I only need to sell, half the value, right? Um, then to me, it's like I might get, just its melt value, which I understand that, some pieces of the collection might not be like that, but it adds a layer of complexity that I'm really just not interested in. It doesn't fit the reasons why I got into gold and silver, and I say that with what I would call collector pieces on my desk. I totally understand that. Um, these are more one-offs, but the majority of my stack is just pieces that I thought were cool or generic bullion that I wouldn't feel bad parting with. Yeah, I'm gonna have to check out Cat's collection and stack. It sounds like it's pretty awesome. Oh yeah, I'm. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that they're not investments. Um, it's just another level to me that uh, right now I'm not. I don't know enough about, and I don't really have that much of an interest in learning it to figure out to use it as an investment. And like that's the same. I'm the same way, with my stock market investments, right? Like I am broad ETFs all the way. Like I got VTSAX and VTI. I don't stock pick. I don't do individual stocks. So to me, if I translate that over to gold and silver, it to me it's kind of similar mindset of key coins is kind of like an individual stock where you know an American Gold Eagle is broad market ETF, and that's kind of how I see it. Um, for me, like I said, not saying you're wrong, just doesn't fit my style of investing. But I do think it's cool to learn about certain coins and their history and everything as fun. Coins have the best long-term return in 50 years. Yeah, I mean, it might. I I'm not. I don't know that to be true, but I'm gonna take your word on it. Um, it's it's just it's out of my wheelhouse. Um, it's like somebody who's never owned a house or only rented their entire life, and they think they're going to be a five unit apartment complex renter, landlord. It's like, maybe not for you. I just know myself. There's too much for me to get into that. Yep. Jamie's in Colorado. Cam, you are both saying exactly what I'm trying to say, which is a lot more elegant than what I'm putting it. It's just too much research, too much time, and I'm all for the simple life. If Kalilo's still in here, that's another good book, The Simple Path to Wealth. I don't know, I haven't seen him in here for a while, but The Simple Path to Wealth, that's me, simple guy. Hey, Kalilo is here. I knew I'd lure you back with some good books. Yep, J.L. Collins, you are right. Side note, Kalilo, did you ever see J.L. Collins's FU money from that he like spin-off parody? That means marry a rich girl. Yeah, I'm already married, and she was not rich. Neither of us were when we got married. Hence the living in a tiny house that we built by ourselves because that's all we could afford. Yeah, The Gambler. Yeah, he did. I was trying to think of the movie name, and I knew I wasn't going to come up with it. But yeah, that that's a good one. I love JL Collins's version of it. Stacking, learn as you go. Yeah, um, didn't I totally understand what you're saying, and I just couldn't. I didn't get into stacking precious metals to learn about it as much as I thought I would. When I originally got in, it was like I'm looking at this asset class as a less volatile store of wealth, and that's kind of what I got into it for. Now I've obviously branched out from that original idea, but it doesn't interest me as an investment for myself. It interests me as like a this is fun to learn, but not to stack, not to collect. Hey Alex, happy Friday. Thanks for jumping in. Yeah, I like starting to get the just I didn't think I would enjoy collecting as much as I did whenever I finally started. So then I enjoyed the community. So I figured, why not make a YouTube video so I can chat with people about my hobbies? Because everybody in my real life is tired of hearing me talk about the same stuff over and over again. So I'll talk to strangers on the internet. Hey, being Becky now, how are you doing? West Texas Stacker. Thanks for stopping in. Appreciate it. What else do we want to talk about? Anybody got some juicy topics want to dive into? Becky started as a collector. Yeah, I mean, I don't I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Um, I'm not a big collector, but I'm not hating on the collectors, and I hope I'm not coming off as hating on collectors because that's not it at all. I think I think it's interesting, but it doesn't fit my style. Kalila, what's on the menu? Actually, I have nothing on the menu tomorrow. My wife is out with one of her girlfriends tonight. She's going out with her sister tomorrow to a concert, and I am at home enjoying you all. Yeah, Kalilo, you're always eating good, man. You're always eating good. I got hand painted wooden heart from a 2-year old niece yesterday from Valentine's Day. Man, that's awesome, Jammies. All I get are videos of my niece and nephew. I don't get any handmade stuff. Well, that's not true. That's not true at all. I take that back. I think last Valentine's Day, um, my sister takes their handprints and footprints for most of the holidays and turns them into like Thanksgiving. They made turkeys out of their handprints. Easter, they made carrots out of their footprints. So I do get stuff like that, but that's awesome. I love that stuff. So things like that are definitely cool. Being Becky now, this is a great space, right? Yeah, and I don't know if you meant safe space, but it's also that too. Mustard and biscuits. I haven't found a 2026 dime in the wild. I don't know that I have either, but I very rarely pay with cash. So I only buy nefarious things with cash. Catcom. Yeah, oh yeah. I'm not saying that I'm never gonna do it, but for me, at least right now, not for me. Colorado Cam, Lord of the Rings extended edition for me. The Two Towers. First time I'm gonna watch it. Happy Valentine's Day. Hey, I mean, I like the Lord of the Rings. Not a not against that. Alex, anyone disagree with high premiums today? If so, why not? Anyone disagree with high premiums today? Uh, yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with Catcom on keep shopping. I like to buy the deals. I am definitely a bargain bin shopper. I like to uh, get get the get the deals closest to spot. Um, I'm not sure. I mean, I've paid some premium on some pieces, that's for sure. But I was looking at SD Bullion. The we were talking about the Buffalo Girl, and I was looking at their prices, and they're basically $10 over for an ounce of silver, and it's I don't know, it's tough. I don't think I'm ready to spend $10 premium for a generic Buffalo round. I think there's opportunities out there to get spot close or closer to spot, and that's kind of where I'm at. Yeah, Kalilo. PM's for sale. He I mean, I was happy with the two purchases I did on there. Felt a little uncomfortable the first two times, but worked out for me. I might be back. Catcom is saying that the 2026 dimes are out. They dropped January 5th, Mustard and Biscuit says. Yeah, SD is definitely one of the higher ones. I just pulled it up because we were talking about it. I mean, I've my first three purchases were from them before I knew there were other options out there. So can't find what you're looking for. Yeah, that's I've I don't really. I would say that I don't know. Maybe I could probably count on both hands the amount of pieces that I actually went out searching for, and I didn't mind paying a little bit higher for them. But the rest of my stuff has all just been what I came across at a good price, and that's what I went with. Being Becky asked for dimes at the bank and they didn't have any. Yeah, I've never tried to get coins from a bank. I don't know that I would. Uh, I'm just it would make me a little uncomfortable, I think. And I know it's a service that they offer, but if I didn't have a need for it, like a true, I don't, well, man, that's going to come out wrong. If I didn't need it for like a business or something, I would have be uncomfortable asking for that. But that's just me. Like I know I'm weird. Again, anonymous guy on YouTube here. $30 premium common. Yeah, I would say that's way too high. But I don't. I mean, I also don't know what you're looking for. If you're looking for something specific, that might just be the price. Yeah, Hero Bullion. I mean, I like them. I've gotten from Monument Metals before. I didn't have a problem with them. I'm trying to think of the last one that I bought. It was the first time I bought from them. They were a little bit higher, but not not up in that uh, SD Bullion at max price range. But I've bought from both of them before. What's the? I use findbullionprices.com a lot. If you're looking for something specific, I'll put that in the chat for you. I use that a lot if I'm looking at like, silver or I look at that to check gold buffalo prices. They or a specific thing that it'll automatically go out and search. I don't know how many of the top places to buy, but I use that a lot of the time to decide where I'm going to buy from, or at least just get a general idea of different prices. And even looking at that, you can see that they range certain things. You can see the range for them across the different sites too, and it's kind of eye opening. I don't mind saying that I use them. Yeah, Kalilo does have a video that is on how to use pure metals. I actually used that whenever I bought the gold buffalo here that he told me about. I had his video up and it pretty much walked me right through it. So definitely a good resource. Go check him out. Yeah, Monument Metals, I've bought from them, bought from Hero. I don't want to say that they're my favorite because I'm not loyal to any of them. I'm loyal to my wallet and I like getting a good price for things. But Monument Metals seems to have lower prices consistently. Yeah, everything else you could have the sucker store. I've gotten stuff from AtMax. I like their customer service. I like how fast they got me my order. Price was a little pricier, but I mean that's kind of in my mind what you're paying for. Get rolls from grocery stores. I got a full roll of silver quarters. I didn't know the grocery stores gave out rolls like that. You can trade for rolls. Yeah, Alex, no problem. Definitely worth shopping around. Like I said, I use that find bullion prices, um, especially when I'm first looking for stuff, or if I want to make a big purchase. I'll go out, find the right price. After you get a little bit more comfortable, or you look at that pretty frequently, you'll get an idea of the sites that are have a little bit less premiums. But that's one resource I look at pretty frequently. Actually, that's honestly how I check the spot prices too. Um, I like just going right to the find bullion prices because every site has their own, and yeah, Kitco also is its own thing, but it's close enough for me. Go to the service desk. All right, might have to do that. Oh, Kalilo, awesome! You put the PMs for sale video in the chat. Yeah, check that out if you want to get on PMs for sale. It's got everything you need to know in it. Colorado Cam bought from Hero Bullion and Bullion Exchange. Preferred Hero, but not loyal to any either. Yeah, Bullion Exchange I've gotten from them before too. I've gotten from Silver.com as well. I had a very long wait with them before the prices went crazy, but that was kind of, I bought a pre-order item and it kept getting delayed, which, I mean, that happens. That's another thing to look at is buying in stock or not, but it ended up taking me about 6 weeks to get my stuff from them. It all came. I was surprised because I think I bought it at around 50, and by the time I got it, it was up in like 80 an ounce, and I was definitely worried that they were going to cancel my order, but they did not, and I ended up making like I think $1,800 on the order, or $1,200 on the order by the time I purchased it and received it. So I've definitely gotten around the sites. I wish I would have been aware of the spot silver at spot deals for new buyers to those sites, because I would have thrown them in the cart the first time that I did purchase from all of those sites. I have unfortunately not been able to capitalize on any of those, but that is another thing to be aware of if you're not worried about what you're getting and you just want silver at spot. Most of those sites have first time buyers deals that you can also get in on. Walmart isn't bad either. I know. I don't know if I was talking about exchanging for rolls of coins or not, but Costco there for a while was not keeping up with the run up on the prices, and you could get some good deals at Costco. Didn't capitalize on that either, but I know that they sell it. Kalilo got a tube of 25 maples from SD Bullion off of Walmart for $8.50. That's awesome. Yeah, I didn't know that they sold that, but um, I mean, I did know that, but I didn't know it at the time. You can definitely get metals from Walmart and Costco. I know that for sure. Yeah, holiday deals. Sometimes you get lucky at spot deals. Yeah, this year in my phone, I have a reminder to save some money going into Black Friday, because there were so many deals this year around Black Friday that I did not have enough dry powder for. Um, and I will definitely not be making that mistake this year. It was one of the things that wasn't aware of. I don't know why I didn't think about Black Friday deals, but I mean, I did get a lot of my little grams here. Most of them were around Black Friday spot deals. There should be another one somewhere. I must have lost it. We'll find it later, hopefully. But I should have 5 of these. But they were spot deals, out of the assay card around Black Friday. that you can find the different sites. So I'll be definitely getting ready for that next year. China is closed for a week. I heard that. How do you think that's going to affect our prices next week? Is China still higher than the U.S. market, the COMEX? Cost of a gram. I don't know what they are these days. I would say probably around 160 or so. Let's see. Let's see if I can find it on that. Find bullion prices. Excuse me. So the best price on that findbullionprices.com for a gram bar looks like it's about 176. Seems to be where they're starting out. 176, 177. Monument Metals, Bullion Standard. Atmex is even there at 176 or 177. So that's surprising. Atmex is third. But yeah, I wish I could show you how I did that. But on that Find Bullion Prices, you can just search by 1 gram gold bar, and it'll list out, I think, the top 10. Oh no, there's a lot on there now. Maybe top 15 places to get it, listed by price from low to high. Hey Alex, I'm glad we're able to help. I mean, I think any of the most of the YouTubers in this community are definitely willing to help. But I'm glad you got something out of this. That's what we do it for. What I do it for, anyway. Becky has done a small gold to silver trade. Yeah, Atmex is competitive on certain items, not everything. They're 90% used to be the cheapest online, believe it or not. Yeah, I mean, some of their stuff, they are definitely. I mean, I've bought in a lot of their deals on Atmex. I like checking them for deals. They seem to give out some good deals here and there, but they have certain things that are way higher. Yeah, the Gold Eagles, for example, for sure. Nice, Becky. That's uh, that's a good trade. I can't get myself to do the trade because I like both gold and silver for different uses. So I just put new money into where I want to trade to. So my next purchases are probably going to be uh, more heavily focused on gold. But I'm probably I've been debating if silver drops a lot lower. I might buy some more generic silver just with the intention of trading the ratio, but also I don't know. I'd rather not take a haircut and just go and buy the gold outright. So I mean, but if it does go way lower, I'll probably trade. But I don't. I believe in both long term for me, so I don't really want to give one up for the other. Catcom 51 ounces for 1 maple ounce. I'd say that's pretty good trade. Becky with the 8 ounces of generic silver. I like it. Yeah, I mean, I get the allure, and you can definitely make some good trades. I just don't see me parting with one for the other right now. And that's again, that's my own personal preference. I would agree. Gold is definitely more stable. And I mean, I got into gold and silver for stability, and I'm seriously reconsidering that lately. I mean, I think long term it'll definitely stable out, but the whole reason why I got into it is for some diversification and the traditionally stability of it, since it hasn't been so stable lately. I mean, the run up has been gravy. I'm not one of those guys that thought it was gonna, go to the moon. Whenever I started getting into it really heavily in November, but even in the past year and a half or so, Kalilo's trading gold for gold. Yeah, I mean, I originally wanted to get into it, jammies, because I am I'm about 95%, well, 90% of my wealth is in the stock market in one form or another, and I want I wanted to get into metals for the stability because I don't own a lot of land or my house or anything like that. I mean, I own my house, but it's on property that isn't technically mine. It's in the family. So I wanted to de-risk a little bit by getting out of the stock market and more stable investments. And I'm at like 5% of my wealth right now in gold and silver. I'd like to get that up to 18% around there is the target, but all this run up has been gravy, but it's also hurting my accumulation of it to get to that ratio. Catcom, I'm on the clock. Yeah, I mean, we're all on the clock, right? But I'm only 34, so I got a long time to go yet. I could have guessed you traded for a Libertad. Yeah, Becky, that makes sense to me. More stable, uh, especially going into or in retirement. Definitely, definitely makes sense. But over 30 years that I have left, I mean, obviously they're both. I feel they're both going to go up. Uh, I just don't know which one's going to go up more as a percentage wise. So I'm going to hold both. But I do see at some point being more heavily in gold than silver. I kind of treat think of them both as gold is my bonds and silver's my stocks. That's a way of thinking about it. Not saying that they perform like stocks and bonds, but as far as volatility goes, that's kind of how I look at it. Lee Bear Todd. That's the other thing. Um, when you're getting the opinions of the stacker community, you have to also kind of be aware of where they're at in their life. You know, somebody that's in retirement is a lot different has a lot different opinion than somebody that's uh you know in their 30s like I am. Jamie's a checking and saving account. Yeah, I can see what you're saying there. Um, I'm I'm one of those guys that technically live paycheck to paycheck because any leftover money I spend it on investments, and all of my money goes to investments that I don't need for bills and my daily life cycle. So I like to be a little bit riskier on that, but I have a couple forms of income, so I'm fine with that risk right now. But as I get older, I'm gonna be a little bit more stable. I keep a buffer in my accounts, and then other than that, I invest the rest. Catcom, that is awesome. It's awesome for you. I'm glad that worked out. Now, when you bought your gold, did you do it all at once, or did you kind of slowly trickle all that 401k into gold, or was it a one and done kind of thing? Thanks, Becky. I appreciate that. Yeah, the GSR is 65, so basically divide that by 4. That'll give you your quarter ounce. All at once, 50 over spot. Whoo, man, that's uh that's some conviction right there. I don't know that I'd be able to do that. That's that's awesome. Yeah, ballsy. Yeah, I'm glad it worked out for you too. I'm the slow drip investor. Um, I would say the most that I put in at one time is, I'll save up and do one big purchase, maxing out a Roth. So what is that, 8 grand at a time, 7,500 or whatever it is these days. But I wouldn't be able to do that with much more. Yeah, yeah, I wouldn't recommend that. that's that's uh that's ballsy. I don't know that I could do that. So kudos to you. I'm glad it worked out. But man, not for me. Yep, we are at different places. I mean, I started gold and silver at 34, but since I was really, I'd say when I turned 20, I got I got really deep into personal finance. I wanted to be um, a financial advisor, but those guys need to have a bachelor's degree, and I went the military route. I didn't go to college, so that was off the table by the time I got into it, or really wanted to do it, and found out you needed to have a bachelor's degree. I wasn't going back to school, but I did get into personal finance. Been into that since I was 20, so I got 14 years of um, really investing, and not just in the stock market, but for the most part, I uh, I just do, like I said earlier, broad index funds. I don't handpick stocks. I don't have any crypto. That's kind of why how I stack too is, uh, I go for liquidity. Kalilo, yep, yeah. I've been saying that for a while. When I go to retire, I'm gonna say I bought most of my gold under 10K and most of my silver under 1K. I think I actually say 20K for gold and 1K for silver, but yeah, absolutely. You know, it's the equivalent of everybody saying, "Oh, I bought most of my silver under $20." It's like, yeah, well, when I get to retirement, I'm going to be saying I bought most of my silver under 1K. Jammies, most of them fail the exam even with a degree. I believe that. I'm smarter. I don't know about that. Um, I'm just really passionate about personal finance because it's helped me out tremendously. So VTSAX and chill. That's what I do, man. That's how I roll. Trade school is cheaper. Yeah, I did go to trade school as an electrician, and to show you how smart I am, jammies, I went to school for an electrician as a trade school, and I don't even do that as my main source of income for an electrician. I do it, used it to, build and wire my own house and wire my garage. I've done side jobs, but I worked as an electrician for about 8 months after I graduated, and uh, never actually pursued that. So I don't know if that's smart or not, but it was a trade school. That's how I went. I mean, I used the Marine Corps to pay for it, but I don't do that. Yeah, Kalilo, I can tell. We're very similar in that we both like financial literacy. Yeah, Jamie's, it was a lot of YouTube University, man. Did it literally paycheck to paycheck. I'd get paid on a Friday every other week. I'd either go Friday or Saturday to Lowe's, spend half my paycheck, get enough supplies to be able to work on the house after work, hours every night for 2 weeks, and then I'd do it again until it was finished. Electricians make great money. Yeah, they do. Uh, I constantly am getting job offers to go be an electrician, but I like working from home. A millwright. Yeah, there's a steel mill close to me that I've turned down 3 times. I thought I wanted it, didn't want it. So those mill guys, then there's something else. I worked in a chemical factory for 7 years, but it's not anywhere close to being in a mill. So kudos to you. Ohm's law of the greatest. Pie ear, man. Pie and ear. That's all that is. Pardon me, I gotta let my dog, who has a birthday on Sunday, turning 12. Gotta let him out. The video I did this weekend. Yeah. Yeah, that was, I mean, I don't mind doing stuff like that. Um, Wired a couple houses, rewired a couple houses. It's fun to do on the side. Keeps me active, keeps me up to date on the codes and everything, but I enjoy it too. I got it hooked when I was in 6th grade. We had a student teacher, and the student teacher's final project was wiring a house with batteries and light switches, like a cardboard house. We had to build a cardboard house and put light switches and stuff on there, and that was always my fallback plan. Then, whenever I was in the Marine Corps and had this money sitting around to the GI Bill, I was like, well, I guess I'll go be an electrician. That was always cool. So that's how that ended up. And then I ended up not really using it, uh, ultimately, as a source of income, main source of income, I should say. But it's paid dividends since then. Being Becky now, that sounds awesome. I'm actually going to a rock concert down in Daytona. I think it's in May. I'll be down there. It's a rock concert at the Daytona Speedway. Catcom retired from U.S. Steel Lorraine. Yeah, that's awesome. Thanks, Becky. Thanks for your support. Appreciate it. Who's playing at that rock show? It is a 4-day rock show festival. So there is a bunch of bands. Slipknot, Foo Fighters, ton of them. Ton of them. A buddy of mine lives really close to there. Forget exactly what cities he's in, but he's right along where they do all the rocket launches. Semper Fidelis Investor Channel. Yeah. I got my Marine Corps round here. I got a tattoo that looks eerily similar to this, as most Marines do. You would imagine. In high school woodshop, senior built a house for a class project. Yeah, that's awesome. I loved woodshop when I was in high school. One of those classes that really I enjoyed. I think the name of that concert is Rockville, the Rockville concert. I'll Google it real quick because I don't remember who's all playing. Rockville, Daytona. If you put that in, you'll find it. It's in May. I don't know if that's what I said or not. But it's at the International Speedway, and there is just a ton of bands. Guns N' Roses, Godsmack, Alice in Chains, stupid pop-up, get out of the way. Foo Fighters, The Offspring, Rise Against, All Time Low, Coheed and Cambria, My Chemical Romance. Those are the bigger names. Five Finger Death Punch, Day to Remember, Ice Nine Kills. A lot of bands that I grew up with in high school are gonna be there. So going down, meeting up with a buddy. Investor Channel. Not the ASC. No, this is the United States Mint Silver Medals program. I got 2 Marine Corps, and I gave a buddy of mine an Army one. But you got 3 little Marines there with ACOGs, and then on the back, honor, courage, commitment, Semper Fidelis. But I got these right before they, literally about 8 hours before they raised the price from $90 to, I think they're $173 now. But I did see the ASE, and as much as I wanted it, I don't know, I was happy with this one. So I just got it. I got 2 of those instead. But yeah, that was this one. Actually, that was the last silver pickup I got for $90. This coin's lasted about 30 minutes. Yeah. Nice, Kalilo. That's awesome. Catcom, you're saying that they still have them? I need to look into it. Maybe I'll pick one up. Yeah, I used to follow around a band called Amity Affliction. Every time they came to Pittsburgh or close to me, I would travel to see them. They're coming in April, and I'm on the fence about going or not. But I haven't been to a concert in a couple years, so I'm really going to this one. A buddy of mine lives really close to Daytona, so I got free room and board, if you will. So I'm gonna drive down to Florida. It's gonna be like, I don't know, 15 hours drive down there. So you all better make some videos for me to watch, or at least listen to on the drive down and back. But yeah, I'm gonna go to that. It'll be a sweet little quick vacation. Yeah, the Army one was pretty cool. Um, of these uh, silver medals program, the Army one was sweet. I got that and gave it to a buddy of mine who was precious metals curious, and I think it got him to. I think it's got him hooked now. Yep, they just did the Army, Navy, and Marines. Woodstock, take a tent. Yeah, I have a camper van, a 91 GMC Vandora that I flipped into a camper van. It's a little bit too far of a road trip for that one. But being Becky now, you live close. Oh, maybe you'll have to show me some coin shops down there. I think you guys got a lot of cool coin shops from what I can tell. Between you and Fish and Pirate. You got way more than I do up here in the sticks. If I was thinking, I would have bought 2 Army rounds and gave one to my brother, but I wasn't. But I'm a terrible brother. He went into the Army. I went into the Marine Corps. But maybe next time. All right, it is 9 o'clock. If I'm not mistaken, I thought Dub C was going live tonight. So I might have to call it a night and see Mostians over there. How about that Superman Gold and Silver? I am not into comics at all. I have not seen any of the movies, never was into comics, so for me it doesn't interest me one bit, but they do look cool and they are gold, so they got that going for them. But for me, I don't know. Doesn't do anything to me. Oh, you got them all, but the Navy one. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I mean, if I was smart, I would have bought the Navy one and an extra Army one, but I didn't. And then I bought them that night, and the next morning they were offline, and the next time I checked, they were like 170. But I'm gonna call it here. I appreciate you all stopping by. It was a good chat, a good way to kill a Friday evening. And yeah, I'll see you all over at Dub C's. Thanks for stopping by. Hope everyone has a good weekend. Take care of yourselves. Now, if I can figure out how to shut this thing down, take care. Still struggling? Turn it off.